you have to break your routine and get out of doing all of the same things. And even being in a different physical location really helps that, because you find by not doing the same things every day, you think in a different way. Hi there, my fellow wealthy white coats. So glad to be with you again for another week. And this week we're going to mix it up a little bit. This is Jamie in her element. I just got off of vacation. I had a few really big ideas I had on the vacation that I just want to talk with you one-on-one about. I know the past few episodes we've had some of my best friends in the world on to share their ideas and to have kind of a more interesting listening experience. I know myself, I prefer podcasts where people are talking back and forth. But this week I'm taking back the microphone, coming as my full self. I'm still like wearing my vacation shirt. I wish you could see it from the Great Lakes. I'm still like half in a vacation mode. And that's exactly what I want to talk with you about today. So this is going to be another solo episode that'll be a little shorter. And we're going to talk about secondhand goals and secondhand success and really help you understand the difference between secondhand success and what you actually deem as success for yourself. So I was just on vacation for 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row. I had 1 week with my family up at our favorite ski resort in Utah. We go to every year. Big family vacation, so much fun. The second week, our parents took the kids and my husband and I went on a trip across the country and we explored all over the Great Lakes region. And it was so fun in a different kind of way. And the thing I enjoy most about vacations like this is not only being with the people I love and being outside in nature, but totally unplugging from the world. When I mean unplugging from the world, like I don't do anything work-related for 2 weeks. I delete the apps off my phone. I would not even consider bringing my laptop. And I'm just Jamie. I'm just the me that I feel like I am inside. Like I still feel 17 inside. And I'm just authentically having fun and really not worrying about anything related to work or all of those constant beeps and dings and alerts that we get all day long, every day. I generally don't check social media. I just enjoy being alive and don't really care what's happening in the world. And this is important to me, not only for those relationships, to develop relationships with the most important people in my life, but I think as a human, just to take a break and be alive and think about what you actually enjoy yourself and like what is interesting to you. Because you know this, so many different people and like stakeholders in our lives have different dreams and goals for us. I know growing up, my parents had goals for me that I would get a really safe 6-figure job and be able to provide for a family and be really comfortable. I know my job had goals for me. They wanted me to be a district manager and an area manager and like keep moving up their career ladder. I think my profession has goals for me. My profession wants me to practice at the top of my license and be innovative and amazing and like be a game changer in the world of what a specific profession can do. All of this time, I myself, and tell me if this sounds familiar to you too, have been attaching those goals that were given to me as my goals when they were really, I didn't see them for what they were. They were secondhand goals. My parents had goals for me. My employer had goals for me. My profession has goals for me. So many different people and voices in our life has goals for us, and we see them and they feel good. And so we just assume that that's what success is. That is success of what a company wants you to do, or even someone you admire and what they're doing in the world, what they're doing, that's success. So that's what we want to do too. And so we copy it as best we can exactly what they're doing. And while I really do see the value of copying and like learning from people who are a few steps ahead of you and doing your best, I think we don't often see what we're doing and we're just trying to copy the next pattern of success and trying to be the person that the world sees as successful rather than doing that thing that fills us and that we actually want to do inside that makes us unique. Tell me if this is a little crazy, but it's really hard to know what makes you happy in this world and like what you actually want to do. It's much easier to identify things that hurt, things that are painful, things that you want to avoid. And as professionals, I think we're really good at staying in this comfortable trap of doing things that keep us comfortable, that keep us safe, rather than doing things that like actually make us happy and make us fulfilled and doing something that we really want to do. We're trying to protect our assets and protect what we have more than we want to grow and expand and explore, because that feels potentially scary and painful, and we just want to avoid pain. And I know for a lot of my life, that's what I was doing, trying to avoid pain, trying to get comfortable. And that served me well for a while. And maybe it's just a part of a professional journey that like once you have achieved a basic level of comfort in your life, like having a secure place to live, having a few kids, then maybe this conversation is more relevant. I'm not sure, because that's where I'm at in my life. But I really wish earlier people had told me about the joy of exploration and just the joy of finding what success is for you. Because if you look around, it's easy to see that success is either having a 7, 8, or 9-figure company, or earning a certain salary, or having possessions that people can see, the big house, the big truck that pulls the big trailer with all the boats and things. It's easy to spend all of our time and money chasing these things that we think will make us happy because we see other people have them and they look happy, rather than tapping into what makes us happy, what makes us sing, and what we feel is a valuable life. Because in this world, it's so loud and crazy, and with social media, we're always comparing our lives to other people, and it always seems like everyone's happier and healthier and having more fun, and their kids are doing better. And at least for me, being very honest here makes me feel like, well, someone else is doing it right, and I gotta do what they're doing to be happy. And that's why I like vacations so much. And I'm finally coming around to the point of how this even relates to vacations. But for me, vacations are a time to unplug and relax and just think, and kind of like be in a buffer, especially in a different physical location. I think a lot better in a different physical location, although you don't have to travel somewhere. It's more that you're just unplugging from the world and your routines of thinking, and just thinking about what's most important to you, what is valuable in your life, what do you want more of, and how can you start cultivating that in your life. And it can be really uncomfortable because a lot of us don't know what we really like, and we don't know even what we love. We just are so trained to think of what can earn us the most money, what can earn us money with the least amount of work, what can get us to these clear lines of visual success in the world. But really, that rarely brings a lot of deep and lasting happiness. And for me, vacations help me reanalyze what I'm doing in the world and why it matters, and helps kind of recalibrate and come back in touch with myself. And so here's my list I came up with while on vacation of the 5 reasons I think vacations are so helpful and so energizing and can be really used well to help you live and build a life that is intentional. So the first reason is you get to think differently, and you just get out of the rut of day-to-day thinking. It seems like we're living our lives in Groundhog Day, right? We just keep doing the same things over and over again. I walk the same routes in my neighborhood. I eat 90% of the same food every single day. I have the same routines at work and at home. And like, I love routines. My life is a finely tuned machine of running in routines. But at some point, you have to break your routine and get out of doing all of the same things. And even being in a different physical location really helps that, because you find by not doing the same things every day, you think in a different way. I know for me, if I'm just doing the same thing all the time, I just keep rewinding in my head and fast forwarding over and over again, the same problems, the same frustrations, the same worries and anxieties. And when you can take a break from that, it's like you get to take your brain out of your head in a way and just think bigger, think differently, and just enjoy actually thinking. And I know this sounds crazy, but you actually have time to actually think and tune into what that inner voice is saying in your heart. Because, Matt, it's very easy to live your entire day and life always meeting other people's demands and always doing all the things you should do without ever actually tapping into what it is you want to do. And that's not something I think you can really just like in between meetings, take 2 minutes, like, what do I really want to do? Okay, I will do that. Maybe some of you can, but for me, it actually takes a few days to stop thinking about all of the same day-to-day stuff and just start thinking big. Like, what do I love to do? What do I want more of in my life? How can I cultivate more of that? So the biggest one for me is just thinking differently and getting out of the routine. And for me, like physically turning off all notifications and things that grab my attention and take it away from just thinking and being and enjoying, contemplating like the state of my life so far and what I want more of and what I want to eliminate, etc. So that was a long way of step number 1, just that you get to think differently. 2, I really believe our souls crave the beauty of this world, and that as humans, we are not meant to be on screens all day, every day, to be working for 8 hours a day on our computer and then spending our breaks on social media and texting, and then in the evening, relaxing in front of the TV for hours, only to go to sleep and do it again and again and again. That's crazy. We're humans. We need nature and the beauty of this world to be rejuvenated and grateful and just to connect with something bigger than us. So I really love vacations for seeing the beauty of this world generally in a different place that you may not take so for granted, and just being outside and looking at things with your long distance vision. That's something you actually have to do in this world where everything is so close and keeps our brains so busy. So when I'm on vacation, I'm like outside as much as I can and just walking, hiking, exploring, and just seeing what this beautiful world looks like. I really believe our soul craves the beauty of this world, and we're happier and more enlightened when we just look around us and get into nature. Some benefits of vacations, as a recap: you think differently, your soul craves the beauty of this world. 3, you strengthen the relationships that matter most in your life. I know we all say like we're working hard for someone, for our spouse or for our kids or to help our parents, and our work is for other people. And that is so helpful and it's such a blessing for them. But at some point, I think a big worry for us and for those relationships is that the work is in the way of the relationship, and that the work is a distraction from what matters most in that actual relationship. And vacations are a really good way of bringing us back together and fostering those relationships that it can be easy to take for granted or to get busy and to not give them the attention they need. So whether it's kids, partners, parents, anyone we love, vacations are so good at just mushing us together, laughing, playing games, having fun, and just not being distracted by all of the dings and alerts of the world. Next is you're gonna die, so you have to live now. You can't keep putting off the things you want to do until the future, because the future never comes. Tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Nothing in life is guaranteed. We're all gonna die, and yet we act like we have the rest of our life. It's no big deal. We'll do all those fun things later when our kids get older, when we have more time, when we have more money. Chances are, if you make it to retirement, you're not going to be as spry as you think you'll be, and the things that you think you'll do will never end up actually happening. And so not only is the future not guaranteed, but it's just fun and rewarding to live today, and it makes you a richer, more interesting person who's open to way more opportunities when you're seizing the moment and living today rather than trading all of your time for dollars and working yourself to death. You are going to die. You got to live now, and by doing so, it makes your life richer now, and I really think it makes you more open to opportunities and what really calls to your soul when you start following that now instead of waiting for the perfect day when all the stars align, because that never happens. You have to make the stars align now. And even if they're not aligned, you just do it anyway. And lastly, these two kind of tie together. But lastly, your experiences really make you richer as a person and as a human. And when you travel new places and experience new people, especially international travel, you experience other cultures and other people's way of seeing things, saying things, eating things. You have a more diverse understanding of how other people work, and you can relate to people a lot more. And so you just have more wisdom and appreciation and experience that you just can't have any other way. And by doing that, it actually makes you richer, traveling and exploring is one of the very few things in life you can spend money on that actually makes you much richer. I know for me, taking the time out from the world to connect with those I love, and just including myself. I love myself. I'm my own best friend. I really love spending time with myself. And that happens on vacation too, where I just get to write in my journal or just think about what things do I really want in life and how do I get them happens in a way that really doesn't happen in the day-to-day life. And now if you're listening to this thinking oh yeah, that sounds so fun. If only we could all just go on a luxury vacation, that would be so great, Jamie. Well, I assure you, vacationing or taking a think week like this really doesn't have to break the bank. And this is kind of a side note, but I just want to share some things that I do that have made it really easy to take many trips like this and just bake it into my daily life. Because I strongly believe vacationing doesn't have to break the bank and you can do it quite cheaply. And that's actually really, really fun. You're not sacrificing fun by keeping your spending down. So some things we do when we go on vacation that keep it fun and easy and not breaking the bank is, one is a simple thing, but we don't really eat out at restaurants. I am a street food girl. I love street food, and just getting bread and cheese from the grocery store as a meal, that keeps life easy. It keeps it really cheap to either just grab some food from a grocery store, grab street food. We just had some of the best pretzels of my life. That was lunch when we got hot pretzels on vacation recently. Just keeping food easy, not feeling you have to eat out every meal and have this super expensive meal. I think on almost all of our vacations, we only eat out at a real restaurant once, maybe. All the rest of the time, we're just either eating cereal, bread and cheese, or grabbing some cheap, hot street food. I also don't buy souvenirs. I don't buy anything on vacation. I only keep some of the mementos to save in a scrapbook for later, but you don't have to buy a suitcase full of stuff. Just don't buy anything on your vacation. Save those memories instead. Next, I don't do fancy spas or experiences. We don't even do all-inclusive resorts. Maybe those are a good way to vacation. I don't know. I've never done it. I just buy a cheap plane ticket somewhere. I get a pretty cheap Airbnb, and then we just have fun exploring most of the free stuff there is to do, or pretty low cost, getting into a national park, taking a little boat tour to sightsee, things that are $30, maybe $50, but you don't have to do all of the luxury spas or jumping out of helicopters or helicopter tours or parasailing. I don't know, all that stuff. Other people, perhaps it's fun. I just keep it really easy and simple. And I really spend most of my vacations hiking, talking, listening to podcasts, moving my body a lot during the day, wherever it is that we are, whether it's hiking or walking or just strolling downtown, thinking and reading and just doing it in a new place and having fun and having not a lot on the agenda. It really does wonders for your brain. So you can tell I just got off vacation because that's all I want to think about and talk about. And my gut impulse was not to record this because I felt well, this isn't stunning business advice for the week. I'm just totally refreshed and pepped to jump back into work with gusto. So maybe that is a super secret business advice after all, to really think about the kind of life you want to have and then intentionally build that life instead of someone else's dream. Because chances are, if there's a clear path to what you want to achieve, then it's probably someone else's path and not yours. So that's it. That's what I wanted to convey today, is just the joy of being alive now, taking the vacations while you can, being with the people you love, shutting out the noisy world and really evaluating what is it that you want to do, because there's no limit to the number of good opportunities or cool things you can do in the world. But finding those few things that you're really interested in and that you really want to give a try, listening to that calling and taking just the first baby steps to discover what that looks like is so rewarding. And it's something, man, I wish I had learned to do a long, long time ago. And if you're having trouble figuring out what this thing is that you want to do, or you want to make changes in your life, but you just can't define what that looks like, perhaps taking a vacation, or if nothing else, staying at home, take a stay vacation and just unplug or turn off all of your devices and just sit with yourself and enjoy being by yourself and thinking about what you want. I love journaling. Journal it out, write Like physically write out what things you want, what you're frustrated with, what your ideally created life would be. And then once you know what that is, it's easier to start taking the steps to change rather than, like we were talking about in the beginning, staying away from pain and going towards something you love. Anyway, I just hope this helps. It is a good time to be alive. It's such an incredible time to be alive. And I'm so happy that you're alive right now and you get the blessing of discovering what it is you're meant to do in this world and how you're going to do it and finding what truly brings you joy. Go get 'em, Tiger.